Greg S, what's up, fellas? How you guys doing? Hope you guys are having a good one. Let me see. I don't have audio right now. Stand by one. Kid was messing with my headset. Now I can't hear. Crap. Let's see if we can fix it. Let's try this. Boom. How you guys doing tonight? It's been a little while. New fish? Not really, yes. That's the same group of Chalathrin alleni Wapoga that's been in there, and you can still see the Cryptoheros Nanoluteus hanging out. Just those two. There's number 3, and somewhere in there's a fourth Nanoluteus. Then there's a small group of about 6 Corydoras sodalis, which I originally thought was a different Cory when I bought them. And turns out that apparently nobody in the United States has ever spawned them. So they just kind of end up in the 125. I've got other goals that I'd like to accomplish eventually. I do want to get into breeding some Corys. I've bred a couple, not a lot. Just haven't got there just yet. So the Sodalis ended up in this 125. I didn't plan on spawning those Nanoluteus in the 125. There's still about a dozen fry in there. I've pulled a few out and moved them down to the fish room downstairs. There's one of those Corydoras I was telling you about in front of the Rotella Micrandra there. But anyway, yeah, so no new fish. I'm actually working on getting rid of fish, believe it or not. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. I've just got a lot of stuff going on right now between work and so hockey for the kid is over, but soccer's starting up. We got our first soccer practice Thursday. So my wife coaches hockey team. I'm going to coach a soccer team. And then baseball starts next month. So busy. I've kind of been in and out of town a little bit because of work. So the wife's been taking care of fish tanks when I'm not around. I just did a water change in this 125. You can still see some microbubbles running around. Missed some algae on the back glass. But this thing's turning around. It's slowly getting there. What's up, Ian? Ian's around. And I did drop, if anybody wants to chat for a little bit, I don't know. I'll probably talk for maybe 45 minutes or an hour tonight. If anybody wants to jump up and chat, you're more than welcome to it. I did post the StreamYard link there. So we'll see if people hang out. If they do, great. If not, that's all right. I know there's a lot of people streaming. I think Bentley's still streaming. I know Alex from Secret History was on earlier. I think it's a Tuesday night around 8 o'clock. My time is like ladies' night or something with Shanna and Dee Dee. But if you want to talk fish or talk more of the science behind stuff in your tanks, we'll chat for a little bit, see what's going on. Right now, you're looking at the 125. Need to get rid of it's an Iliocaris species. I'm not sure of the exact species. Taking over along the front, outgrowing the crypts for sure. So definitely to thin that out. Might get rid of it entirely. We'll see. Ian, what's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot, Mike.
To
be honest,
quiet.
I just popped an edible, so we'll see how long I last on here.
All right. Give me just a second here. I'm trying to figure out. My kid was messing with my headphones earlier, so I can barely hear anything. Let's see how that goes. What have you been up to, bud?
Working.
And
doing stuff with the tanks,
Yeah. How are the tanks coming along?
Doing good. Zebra Cara are laying eggs now. Still trying
really?
to. Yeah, but the male I don't think is doing his job.
Yeah. My buddy has spawned. He's got a pair of the Zebra Cara, the Ivana Atticata. He's actually had a couple pairs spawn. and he just has had a hell of a time successfully getting fry out of them.
Yeah.
So Garcia, what's up, man? Garcia's in the house. Thanks for stopping by. I don't know if Garcia's been in one of my streams that I've noticed. Maybe I just don't pay a whole lot of attention. But thanks for coming out. And we're going to talk a little bit about tanks, and probably there's just a few questions I've seen pop up on Facebook about shrimp, and I've seen a lot of misinformation, mostly with regards to fertilizers and shrimp and planted tanks. So I just figured we'd talk about that a little bit tonight and see who all wanted to chat and see what was going on with folks. It's obviously it's been a long time since I've been up here. I know I've popped into YouTube randomly here and there, but that's all right. Life happens to everybody. I was actually hoping the other day. I wore my Jeff Rose fish keeping shirt, and I haven't seen Jeff Rose stream in a long time. I know he's busy with Danny. So hopefully he gets back into the game a little bit. I was trying to, last summer now, trying to meet up with him to go camping, but it just didn't happen. There's a link to Jeff Rose's channel. If you've never seen Jeff Rose fish keeping, he's a good dude. They are fun people to hang out with and BS with. And he used to do, I think one of his most popular video series was Pleco versus food, where he literally just try different foods with his Plecos and see how things go. So interesting stuff. He's got a lot of different videos, about 5,500 subscribers. So he was definitely a lot bigger than this puny little channel with our 600 and it says 13. I think when I opened YouTube Studio earlier, it said 615. So we might be doing better than YouTube's letting off. But at the end of the day, I'm just here to have fun, hang out with you guys, and try to share a little information when I can. So I've learned a lot from you guys. Hopefully you guys learn some new things, or at least what not to do from me when I'm rambling up here. But how's that little reef doing, Ian? I think I jumped on one of your streams with your girlfriend. Might have been up there one night. I think I saw it for a minute. But...
Yeah, it's doing good. I trimmed some corals out of it. The clownfish just kept fighting a lot, so I separated them.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I have a little oval hang-on box on the outside.
Yeah.
It's hooked up to a little air pump, but
okay.
I'm letting the clownfish heal up in there. Then I'm gonna find him a new home.
Okay.
His cool. They're still pretty tore up, but.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had a pair of clownfish. I didn't know they were a pair when I got them. I just ended up with them. But they ended up pairing off, and the female was probably 3 times as large as the male. And they spawned a couple of times for me. I raised the fry once to say I did it. But unless you were really like setting up and dedicated to it, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, especially with the live food cultures and.
Oh, that's me too. So you got live food cultures for your live food cultures.
Yep. So
it definitely it can turn into a little bit of a headache. Not the end of the world. Like I said, if that's what you're into, you just have to kind of dedicate stuff for it.
Yeah, I'm not really trying to breed them, but I just wanted a pair of clowns.
There you go.
I think I'll have a single clown now. So maybe I can get a different fish in there.
I know. I remember back when I was a little more salty, when the lightning maroon clowns came out, and they're selling for like $2 or $3 grand a piece. And now, I mean, because it's actually, so obviously there's a lot of designer morphs, but the lightning maroon clown is a actually a wild variation, I guess.
Yep,
And
it is a wild variation.
So this guy, I don't
And the
know.
cool thing about the lightning maroons is that there are different species in the Ocellaris.
Yeah, they're
More
super
great.
cool. So obviously, I mean, you know what they look like, but for those people in the chat that may not, it's kind of a maroon clown that has really broken spotted bands on it instead of like the normal solid stripes or the like a misbar where it's an incomplete stripe.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. I said originally I want to say they came out between that was probably 2012, 2013 time frame, and they were initially selling for $2,000 to $3,000, and now you can find them pretty freaking cheap, relatively speaking, of course. But like even on Live Aquaria has ORA captive bred lightning maroons for $70. So I mean they don't these. I mean the picture they posted doesn't look as cool as like a wild type lightning maroon, but
Yeah.
but pretty cool. Also seen the past couple of years long fin clownfish, which I'm not real big on long fin freshwater fish, let alone long fin clownfish. They just look raggedy and tattered and goofed up to me, so I'm not a huge fan. So it's something different. It looks like a long fin clownfish reminds me of a long fin Oscar, which
I was just about to say that. It looks just like a longfin Oscar.
I mean, I think longfin Oscars look ridiculous, but to each
I
their
used
own.
to keep them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was a cool fish.
So,
But I kept him alone in his own tank. So
oh
he
yeah,
never got bullied. So his fins were pretty good.
yeah. That's
They
I mean,
weren't
even
tattered or anything.
remember when like even obviously now like longfin bristle noses are still a big deal. But in the early
Yeah.
2000s, like if you had long fins, it was like the bee's knees back then. Like Plecos and like veil-tail angels were kind of the only long fin types that were around, and then Corey started popping up, and cherry barbs started popping up, and I've actually seen a buddy of mine accidentally. He runs a local shop down in Omaha. He accidentally ordered these guys.
Oh, I got these really cool angelfish. They have double ventral fins.
Double ventral fins.
Yeah, so it's obviously a genetic deformity.
Right.
They have 4 ventral, which is weird.
Huh.
I think it looks
Interesting.
cool.
I've never seen that before. Yeah, my buddy ordered long fin neon tetras.
Ooh, those are rare.
He didn't mean to, and I think he spent like $30 a piece on them.
Ooh, ooh.
So, but
Yeah, I think those are coming out of the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. The Czech Republic's put out a lot of the cool fish. Obviously, like there's some longfin white clouds out there, and there's a variety of longfin stuff. There's some nice looking veil-tail angelfish. I prefer the wide fin kind of look.
Yep.
I just think it's a little more clean. I'm not a huge fan of Angel Mania, but this fish doesn't look too bad.
I think nothing beats a true Ultim with those just long fins.
Oh yeah, it's just something else, man.
Oh, look at how wide those are. Those are nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty sick. I just think it looks like a clean fish. Like the fins look like they're healthy. I don't know. This one here almost looks like a saltwater batfish.
I was gonna say it kind of looks like a sailfin tang.
Yeah.
Almost.
I don't know. Ultims are always a good one. I actually want one of these days. I think one of these days I'm going to kick the rainbow fish out of my 125, and I'm going to put Leopoldite angels in there.
Ooh.
They're not as they're not as desired or sought after, I guess, as Ultims, but
I only know one person in my area that keeps the Eye.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's one of them like underrated angelfish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a guy up in Minneapolis, which is maybe 4 hours from me, and he was breeding them, and I want to say he was selling a group of 6 for like $100, just little juvies. But I mean, that's not too bad. I think the going rate wholesale is like $25 or $30 maybe. So not too bad. Like I said, one of these days, whenever I get sick of the rainbows. Terry, what's up, brother? What are you doing in here? Speaking of angelfish. How are those new discus, Terry? I remember you got a couple new discus a while back. How are those guys doing? Because I know you said one was a little thin and you were worried about it, but I mean, last time I remember seeing them, they looked fairly healthy. Hopefully they put some weight on and you got a little growth out of them. Maybe Terry will come chat with us a little bit. We'll see. We'll see. I don't even know how many people got in here. 4, a whopping 4. There's so many people that just stream on YouTube anymore. That it's. I mean, I'm not trying to compete with anybody, but it's just you don't get the crowds. And I'm not looking for crowds just for the sake of viewers, but it's fun to get 25, 30 people in the chat, and I think 25 to 30 is like a good number for what I'm interested in doing. I know the guys out there trying to make the big bucks or, have hundreds and hundreds in their streams. Terry, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Good. Just got the kid to bed, did a water change on the 125. It's a mess.
I love to look at that tank. That tank looks fantastic. I love it.
It needs a trim. The red plant is a Rotella Micrandra, and it just needs hacked down and replanted. And then the middle, literally dead center of the picture right now, is just a Rotella rotundifolia, and it's growing because I missed a stem when I took all the stems out, and now it's just ridiculous. But it's not bad. There's about 20 Chilathrina alleni wolfpoga in there, and I'll pick fry off the top every now and then, so they're spawning in there. And then there's 2 pairs of Cryptoheros Nanoluteus in there. You can kind of see there. And then the Nanoluteus have spawned in there too. There's I think I've got maybe a dozen fry from them. So I didn't pull the fry out. They seem to get along all right. I'm not looking to raise a shitload of yellow convicts right now, but they're super cool fish. I think they're underrated. I like them.
How's Atkins doing today?
I'm doing just fine, Terry. Really, I turned the camera on and the light shut off. What my luck. There goes my old triple.
I had to come in with 2 awesome fish geeks talking together. You guys may not have as many people in your stream, but you guys know your stuff.
I've told you a million times before. I'd rather have 10 people that can carry on a decently intelligent conversation about fish than 5 people or 500 people asking the same 2 questions about guppies nonstop.
Yep.
That you asked about the discus. The one discus that I was really concerned about, he just finally wasted away.
Oh, really?
I'm sure it was some kind of internal parasite of some kind, but I just couldn't get it to stop. And I never put him in a hospital tank right away. Yeah. I waited till it was absolutely obvious.
Right.
And I should have jumped on him a little sooner. The other ones are doing fine. I got everybody separated. I'm trying to grow them out and get them conditioned to see if I can luck out and maybe get a pair.
Oh, really? That would be nice. How are the 3 Stooges?
Yeah, one made it.
That's not bad. 33%.
Well, I killed the other 2. It was my bad. I got a little too aggressive, and I didn't realize how delicate the yolk sac was on the egg, and it punctured. I punctured 2 of them.
Yeah.
So we named him Mo, and he's actually in a 125 now with adults
Oh, really?
swimming around. Yeah.
Yeah. How big is it now?
He's still the smallest fish in the tank, but he knows
Oh,
to
for
run
sure.
when he knows to run when he needs to.
Right. There we go. Those are some cool fish, Ian. Those are kind of I've had the opportunity to buy them a couple times. It used to be my unicorn fish. And then a couple of my close friends got them, and I'm like, well, now they're not. They're still cool, but they're Jeffrey Watts.
Yeah,
They're
those
definitely
fish are
becoming more
badass.
available.
I remember when they first hit the market, you couldn't find them anywhere. They'd pop up once a year when they got collected, and that was it. But it's still one of my favorite fish. I don't know. I haven't pulled the trigger on a pair. The price is way more reasonable than they used to be.
Yeah, they're still, I mean, relatively for me, they're pretty pricey. I mean, the fish store over here is selling a pair for $180,
I believe it.
and they're both males.
Oh, really?
I love them. Yeah, they were
Nope.
both males in the tank.
Yeah, they'll kill each other. They're kind of assholes.
They are apples.
They exhibit a lot of both inter and intra species aggression. They're tough to keep from the people I've talked to. Like I said, I haven't had them myself, but
Yep,
they
they've
can be a
killed
little
Peppers
tough.
and Corey's of mine. So I had to take them all out. This is their
Females
tank.
Females are psychopaths when they spawn, just like a pistos. They'll kill the males in no time.
Yeah, she usually spawns in this little mushroom cave.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
And they spawned once in here.
that-
About three batches of eggs, but no success raising them.
Yeah. Do you try pulling them and putting them in like a tumbler or anything?
No. I was thinking of putting them in with some methylene blue and an airstone
Yeah.
next time they spawn.
So the group of rainbows that's in that 125. Brian's here. What's up, Brian? The group of rainbows that's in this 125 here. I actually had that, well, a little smaller group, but I had them in a 40 breeder. And I originally put one mop in, and I was picking eggs, and I put the eggs in a container with an airstone and a little methylene blue. And I was getting, I don't know, pretty lousy hatch rates and survival rates. And then I said, screw it. And I put 2 mops in, and about once a week I'd pull a mop to a 2.5 and let them hatch out in just a 2.5 gallon tank with just straight water. And I saw way better survival rates. So I just started pulling mops instead of picking eggs. But
Yeah, that's actually something to be said for that. I've met other people that have less success using meth blue than just using their straight water. And it goes back to the whole conversation we've had that nobody's water is the same.
right.
Some people don't have to worry about, fungus issues and stuff. And if you don't have to use methylene blue, then there's no reason to use it.
Right. So
Go ahead.
I ended up with way better success rates. I'd
Maybe
just
I'll
pull a
try it
mop.
without the mist.
I'd pull a mop. Obviously, the rainbows are a lot different than the Atiquetta there, but I'd pull a mop and just put it in a 2.5 with an airstone, or even just a full up sponge filter, and they'd hatch out just fine, and then I'd start feeding it green water. But when I was pulling eggs out of the mops, I was pulling every 3 days. I'd get 60 to 70 eggs.
Wow.
I mean, they're so tight and they're hard to sell for a long time. So I wasn't super concerned with raising a ton of them. It was like enough to keep my colony going and share with a few close friends and maybe sell a couple bags of swap meat or something. But now, like I said, in this 125, every now and then I'll see fry cruising along the top that are fairly fresh hatched. So I'll scoop them out, and I've got a 125 downstairs that I'll feed them in. How many puffers you got in there, Ian?
I have 4. I had 5, but one got skinny and died. Even though I treated him.
It
Yeah.
happens.
That's internal parasites are tough. You can hit them with 1,000 different medications and nothing will work.
It's one of those things that if you catch it early, you might be able to treat it with something externally, but chances are, man, that's why trying to treat with like medicated foods and one of the things I like to do is to unthaw frozen food in a strong mixture of like metrobendazole or something to that effect. Uh, Prozi Pro, something, to maybe possibly get a little bit of that into the fish, but
Right.
it's so hard.
It's tough. And that's one thing that I don't know. I'm not super up on medications and identifying infections and treating them. But at the end of the day, I generally keep fairly decent sized groups of whatever fish that I keep. So it's not like, well, this is the only male I can get. I need to do whatever I can to save him and attempt to breed it. But it's entertaining. That's a topic in itself. It's entertaining. So people, and I don't know, people may or may not criticize this way of thinking, but you spend $3 or $4 on a fish, right? Whether it's a tetra or a guppy or whatever, and then you go out and spend $8 on a bottle of medication that may or may not heal it, right? Like, okay, and well, that didn't work, so we'll go buy a different medication. You spend another $8 on different medication. Like, if it's only one fish displaying symptoms, like, I don't know, it's how much time, money, and effort are you willing to put into saving a $3 fish that you can go replace very easily?
Right. A $3 fish is one thing. When you see a neon tetra wasting away, you might separate it and then move on. When you're buying high dollar fish, you tend to spend a little more money. But
Oh yeah,
even then, I tend to buy like my cheaper fish that I just like to watch. I usually I'm a minimum of 10.
right.
That's minimum. And then you're right, exactly right. If you get one that starts wasting away and it's just not healthy, separate it. Don't be lazy like I was with that discus. Separate them right away. If you have the meds on hand, try to treat them. If not, I mean, it happens. I don't know any. I don't know any true fish keeper worth his salt that is going to tell you, "Oh, I've never lost a fish."
Oh, for sure.
I can treat everything.
And if anybody says they've never lost a fish, they're lying to you out their ass.
Yep.
What's going on, Danny?
Danny's
I
here. What's up,
lost
man?
I lost my gold gourami yesterday.
Did you?
Found dead in the tank.
Really? See,
Yeah.
weird stuff will happen like that sometimes. You just, fortunately, I mean, I don't want to.
He was already full grown when I got him, and the guy told me he's had him for a couple years.
Yeah.
And
See,
I've already had him for 3 years. So maybe it was an old gourami.
yeah, he probably aged out. That's the thing. Like, you used to see it on Aquabid. There were a couple people that were kind of notorious for it. They'd sell breeding pairs or proven pairs, but they had aged out. Like, you'd get the fish, and if you got one spawn out of them before they were done or dead, you'd spend. I spent. Oh, this is when like the red velvet swords were just like the real red albinos were just starting to come out. I spent maybe $85 on a trio or something, and it was an aged out group. I got them, and you could just tell by looking at them that the pictures that were posted were old, and the fish were they were done. You weren't gonna spawn them. It was over, and sure enough,
if you hear that horror story in live bears quite a bit. You buy a large female. She's obviously pregnant. She has a clutch and then dies.
yeah,
It happens a lot.
It sucks. That's why, I mean, patience pays off when you get groups of young fish. You have a lot better guess at how old the fish are, just based on you have a fair idea about how fast that species grows and stuff. So, excuse me. A minute ago, where'd it go? S asks what I think of rads or Rhinocentris, or Ornatus is the most popular species of rads. But they're super awesome. In fact, while I was gone, I saw Marcel. This was maybe a year and a half ago. I was out of town for a work trip for a couple months, and Marcel posted some Rhinocentris ornatus Tiwa Creek. And I asked my buddy, I was like, hey, if I buy these from this dude, can you hold on to them until I get back? Because they're a super cool group of rainbows. And Tiwa Creeks were awesome. And you don't really, I mean, up until about a year ago, Marcel didn't really post a lot of them for sale and stuff. But I talked to my buddy. I was like, hey, if I buy these, we hold on to them until I get home and I can set up a tank. Yep. So I bought them. He put them in his tank, and he fell in love with them so fast. He's like, hey, how about I just pay you for them?
Yeah, you ain't getting these.
He's had those fish for about a year and a half now. He refuses to let me have them. And he's like, well, I spawned them. I'll give you a group of the fry. I was like, I mean, I can't be too mad because he spawned them, but at the same time,
yeah, I want my fish, man.
Yeah. So, but rats are super sweet. This one.
Let them keep the fry and give you the pairs.
Yeah, which it was fine. But I mean, there's a lot of different collection points. As far as I know, the Rhinocentris ornatus that are available, the vast majority of them are truly ornatus and or not necessarily truly ornatus. They just haven't been described out and separated. I don't know. I think Dan from Dan's Fish was occasionally getting some rads for sale, but not very often. Look on Aquatic and see. I don't see Marcel. Anything from Marcel right now. Not even a lot of rainbows. Usually there's a couple pages of rainbows. I'm surprised Dan's posting so much on Aquatic. But here's the problem with selling rainbows. 90% of rainbows look like that until they're like 2 years old. It's tough to sell a gray fish, even with a black stripe on it. I mean, it's just, and a lot of the times, I mean, you don't even know if the identification is correct.
There's so many of them, and when they're young, they all look exactly the same. And oh yeah, it's tough. That's why in the swap meets and stuff, they always got the beautiful pictures behind them on a big board that shows you, and then you kind of pick out the one you like, and they'll say, "Oh, this bag of these little brown fish are them."
Yeah, that's the only way you can sell them. You'll never sell them otherwise.
It still takes a freaking ever to get them to grow up.
And then some of them, I mean, some of the rainbows, even when they are super healthy, a lot of them, they may only color up in the morning when they're spawning.
Right, exactly.
Which, I mean,
you'll hear that a lot among rainbow keepers. Oh, they're fired up right now. But that may only last a half hour,
right,
to an hour.
And let me see. I don't have a good picture. I posted a video of it, one of my YouTube videos. I don't see Marcel having anything for sale right now. But let's look at, because I know this is a good example. I should be able to find a picture easy enough. So we'll look at this picture. So a lot of the times when people are talking about a fish being like a rainbow being fired up, so you can actually see this stripe right on the back of the fish. That'll flash. So
It does.
They have some crazy way that they can alter the pigments like instantaneously, like an octopus, and that stripe along their spine there will get brighter and darker, and it's super cool to see. So if you've never spawned rainbows, like rainbows are definitely worth spawning, or they're worth keeping, even if you don't want to raise the fry, just because their spawning activities are super cool to see. The fish color up. They're easy. All rainbows spawn fairly easily. Generally soft water. You throw a mop in there and you're good to go with, as long as you're throwing good food in there. The hardest part about breeding rainbow fish is having the patience to grow them out and waiting for having small enough food for them.
Yeah.
What's up, Lori? I didn't even see you sneak in here. Lori's hanging out. Nice to see you, Lori. Appreciate you stopping by. It's been a little while. But the whole reason, so we've been rambling about fish for a while. The whole reason I even started this stream, or wanted to start it tonight, was because I saw a thread and somebody was asking about if there were any fertilizers that were safe for shrimp tanks. And there's this common misconception in the hobby. Misconception, I don't know. Maybe people are just paranoid or super leery about it, but that shrimp are super sensitive to copper. And shrimp and invertebrates in general are sensitive. They have a lower threshold for copper. But it's not like if you dose a fertilizer that has copper in it, if you dose it correctly, like per whatever the instructions are, even a highly concentrated fertilizer we'll say like APT Complete or Easy Green that's providing higher target values of each nutrient, it's going to have copper in it. And just because it has copper in it doesn't mean it's going to nuke your inverts, like your shrimp and snails. So shrimp and snails are very sensitive to copper medications because copper medications have, relatively high concentrations of copper. And shrimp and inverts in general, inverts like mollusks, crustaceans, like your shrimp, your snails, they actually need a fairly high amount of copper, much more than most people would think. That's because, in humans have, our blood carries oxygen, pulls oxygen from the lungs, pumps it throughout the body, distributes it, and it uses hemoglobin as a carrier for oxygen, right? So iron is a key component of hemoglobin, and that the oxygen temporarily binds the iron. The iron is obviously, and the hemoglobin molecule, the hemoglobin's in your blood, passes through your bloodstream, distributes the oxygen to the rest of your body. Cool. Simple enough. Everybody is fairly familiar with the concept. Yeah. So inverts like shrimp, instead of hemoglobin, they use a compound called hemocyanin. And instead of iron, hemocyanin uses copper. So it's actually two copper atoms that temporarily bind to oxygen. And though that is a large transporter of oxygen throughout an invert's circulatory system. So everybody's like, "Oh, you can't put copper in the tank. Can't put copper in the tank. Can't put copper in the tank." Shrimp actually need copper. It's a vital nutrient to the existence of shrimp in general.
I didn't want to interrupt, but doesn't it also? I am no expert on shrimp or plant fertilizers or any of that. I ran a fish room for 20 years and I never had a live plant in it. But doesn't it depend on what the copper is bonded with in the fertilizer as to how toxic it is? Or am I mistaken?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Doesn't it depend on what the copper is bonded with inside the fertilizer?
Yeah,
itself?
It could be.
I don't know. I could be talking out of my ass, but there's a difference between like chelated copper,
right? There's different copper compounds. Just like there's different iron compounds that are used in various fertilizers. I've yet to see or at least like personally come across a readily available aquarium specific fertilizer. So not just like a generic plant fertilizer, an aquarium specific fertilizer that has high enough copper content that when dosed per the instructions is going to be lethal to any invertebrates. If you aren't paying attention and you overdose your tank, sure, there's a chance, but it definitely takes much higher concentrations than people like to think.
Man, I got into it one time on a guppy group about treating with a copper medication. Now, granted, a copper medication, like you said, is at a much higher concentration. But, you know, I was like, well, if the person doesn't have shrimp and snails, what does that person have to worry about? And that person was like, oh my God, that copper is going to be there forever and a day. You'll never get rid of it. You can never have a plant. You can never have a shrimp. I'm like, okay, whatever, dude.
I've never seen anybody like actually prove that. I think it's easy for somebody to say, like, I think it's an easy excuse, like, oh, I put shrimp or whatever in this tank and they died. It must have been because I put a copper medication in it 5 years ago and it's just leaching from the silicone. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying nobody has been able to actually prove that that was the cause of losing any livestock.
Right.
So, yeah. So that was just kind of what got me. It just kind of ground my gears a little bit. And some people got worked up and they were furious, like, oh, like you can only use fertilizers that say they're specific for shrimp. I was like, okay, well, you just narrowed yourself down to like 2 or 3 products on the market because there's not very many that the bottle specifically says shrimp for. Because it's like one of the most popular ones. Well, my favorite fertilizer that I use and the one I recommend is Thrive from Colin over at nilifeg.com. And so he actually offers, and this is one of the reasons, Easy Green from Corey isn't a bad fertilizer. It's a pretty decent fertilizer. But one of the reasons that I prefer Thrive is that he has different formulas. So with Easy Green, you get what you get. And you better hope that that agrees with your existing water or the livestock that you're trying to use. But Thrive, so Colin offers his generic all-in-one, which is just kind of the standard, his little flagship product that he's had for years. This was the first one that he brought to market. You get the guaranteed analysis, boom, getting all this stuff. And see copper. Oh, look, 0.0002%.
Oh my God, that's so low.
Right.
It's 0.00002%, right? Or 3 or 4 zeros. I don't have my glasses on.
So somebody wanted to argue, and I recommended Thrive. Somebody wanted to argue that you couldn't use this version of Thrive that we're looking at 0.0002% because of the copper content. But fortunately, they argued that you needed to use the Thrive S, which is Colin's shrimp-specific fertilizer. So we'll go look over there, and we'll check out the copper content in Thrive S, which is specific for shrimp. And let's see if we can find. I know there's copper in it. I'm trying to. I don't see it. I've talked to Colin before. I know it doesn't show any copper, which I'm surprised. I think it used to.
Soluble magnesium.
I think there's trace amounts in it. It's not showing it, but I want to say that I talked to him before. Says copper is necessary, including shrimp. Okay. Now it doesn't. Maybe he changed it. Has been synthesized as a copper-free liquid fert. So that's cool.
Either that or he just quit listing it as
right. Because I mean, even at 0.0002%.
That is so low. It's not even.
So that's a
by law. You don't have to put anything in that has that low of a concentration.
I'm trying to think of how small of an amount that really is, because it's just tiny. But their argument anyway, regardless, their argument was that you could only use Thrive S. You couldn't use the regular Thrive. I was like, well, you're talking 0.0002%. And this may be, and I like Colin, he's a nice guy. I don't know for sure. But this may be a marketing thing. Like, well, if I legitimately don't put copper in it, then the people that freak out about fertilizers.
It does say copper free.
Right. And it may be. It may very well be. And he may do that just as a marketing thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just be like, oh, well, it's copper free, so you never have to worry about it.
Yeah, but at 0.0002%, you can probably say that's copper free.
Right. And I would say that the bigger difference in the regular Thrive versus the Thrive S for shrimp, the Thrive S doses to a lower target nitrate value, just because shrimp tend to be a little bit more sensitive to it. Again, 0.0002 in the Thrive Plus. And the difference in the Thrive and the Thrive Plus, it's the same nutrient composition, but the Thrive Plus actually adds a little GH. So if you're using straight RO, you can use just mix, add this in there, and bring your GH up a little bit. Just add a little magnesium and calcium. So
That's interesting.
Interesting stuff. That's what things like I said, with Tropica or Corey's product, Easy Green. It's not as bad, but it's nice to have options that maybe work for your tank a little bit better than others. And then he's got Thrive C. Thrive C is just lower target values. Again, copper 0.0001% copper.
If people knew the legalities of what they have to list in food that we eat,
right?
I think there's a threshold, and I don't know what the legal threshold is, but it is way less than 0.000 anything.
Right.
And like the cereal you eat has more than 0.00 of bug content in it, but they don't have to list it because it's such a small amount that they don't have to list it.
Yeah. And then so that's one thing, and I don't know, I haven't looked into the exact laws. I know things that are meant to be consumed, you need to provide like a guaranteed analysis, right? So some people mention Dustin's fish tanks, and he offers this growth juice, which is a weak, expensive nutrient supplement. I'll put it that way. But he doesn't even list what's in it, which I believe, I don't know the exact laws, but I believe since it's a chemical compound, you need some sort of analysis posted on the bottle, or at least available. And Dustin does not do that at all. So that's one of the reasons, like I said, you have no idea what's in it. So you don't know what you're putting in your tanks.
It's probably so weak in everything that it's mostly water, and he doesn't have to list it.
Yeah, you get water with some food coloring.
Right.
Let's look at Easy Green.
Or he's just simply breaking the law and said, screw it.
And he probably doesn't sell enough for whoever the actual regulating agency is to. It's like, we'll look at Easy Green, guaranteed analysis, and so Easy Green doesn't even. I mean, you look at. Hold on, sorry, I'll go back to. And somewhere out here, there's a spreadsheet. Some people put together a spreadsheet of this.
What in the heck is on the bottom, the second from the bottom of Easy Green? What is MU?
Second from the bottom, molybdenum. This guy here.
Yeah. How many zeros is that?
So that's.
I don't have my glasses, so.
It's actually more than the Thrive had in copper, 0.00098. It's just drawn out quite a bit. So just based on, and people ask me why I prefer Thrive over Easy Green. So this is Thrive. So you got nitrogen content, phosphates, potash, magnesium, calcium, sulfur, boron, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenum, zinc.
All right, here's where I was going with how it lists copper, and then it lists water-soluble copper.
Right.
Because they're different. They're different compounds, and that's what I was trying to get at. It depends on what the copper is bonded with.
Yeah.
On how dangerous it is to your inverts.
And I mean, depending on what a certain compound is bonded to, or the whether it's chelated or not, or whether it's as an ion. The inverts may or may not even be able to uptake it. It may just float around in the water.
Right.
So, like I was saying, so look at Thrive. If you look at Thrive compared to, and I'm not trying to dog on Corey, if you look at Thrive compared to Easy Green, Easy Green's got a lot less of the nutrients that we're generally concerned. It's got the big ones, obviously nitrogen, phosphate,
And potash.
So
NPK. It's got NPK.
Right. So it's got the big ones, but it's definitely, it's missing a few. And if you got iron, 0.13% compared to Thrive is 0.65% water soluble. And that's why, so Corey pushes his Easy Iron a lot, which is his iron supplement. And I've heard claims, I don't know the exact details. I don't care, to be honest. But supposedly the form of iron that he uses in Easy Iron will react with the other compounds that he uses in Easy Green. But obviously, some people have figured it out, so you can sell it all in one bottle instead of making people buy 2 bottles. So that's my 0.02 on that. Oh, another big thing about people talk about fertilizers. People talk about Excel. Excel's not a fertilizer. It's not a nutrient supplement. It provides nothing.
What? Isn't that a carbon supplement or something?
So
Glutamate.
it's a glutaraldehyde solution, which is, it's not necessarily marketed. It's kind of marketed. So if you look at like Corey's got his Easy Carbon, which
my
is
trophius are spawning right now.
Oh, good. Corey's got Easy Carbon. Flores has Excel. They're both a glutaraldehyde compound. So somebody tried to run some numbers once to show that empirically they provided photosynthetically usable or bioavailable carbon is what they call it. But in reality, it provides no usable carbon. Glutaraldehyde is actually a biocide used to sterilize medical instruments. So it does so, and it causes tissue damage in plants and animals by cross-linking proteins. So in small doses, it's commonly used or functions as an algicide, but it can cause definitely damage to a lot of the more sensitive, softer tissue type plants, I guess. Will have negative reactions to it pretty quickly. It's like your vals or your Sagittaria. They'll definitely melt in even low dosages of Excel or a glutaraldehyde solution. Some people, I think they see confirmation bias where they expect to see good results. Like, oh, I put this product in and I'm seeing good results. It must be adding carbon or whatever. It's just not correct. Like I said, confirmation bias.
Yeah, cause and effect is how I like to say it.
If anything, if you don't have healthy plants, and algae is a legitimate problem, that the Excel or the glutaraldehyde compound is acting as an algicide, which is just inhibiting the algae enough to allow your plants access to the nutrients in the water column. I don't know. I don't recommend using it. It's glutaraldehyde itself is, I think, banned by the EU. You can't put it in products. So what CChem has done is they label it as an isomer, polycycloglutarol, I think is what they call it. They label it as an isomer, like, oh no, it's not glutaraldehyde, but it's glutaraldehyde. So what are those? I see them. They look like 134s or 397s.
Definitely not 134s. They are something that was triple numbers. Is there an L222? I don't know. They look to me like
there's a 333, which is like a king tiger type or a.
Okay, that could very well be.
There's so many different.
There's some kind of Hypancistrus, I think, or something to that effect. I don't know. I seen them at the shop. They weren't even labeled yet, and I said I'd just buy them all, and they shot me a price.
How many did you end up with?
I think there's 6 of them in there.
Oh, cool.
Nah, where'd you
Nice.
go?
Decent little group to have.
They look. There, you can kind of. Their stripes are hard to see sometimes.
Okay. We'll do.
Oh,
cool.
I guess I could. Hold on a minute. Let me get rid of that so I can see what I'm actually doing.
Let me-
Yeah, I don't know if somebody else knows what in the heck these things are.
Yeah, I'm not
They
super
said
up.
that
They-
the L number. I remember 3 of the numbers being the same.
Yeah, a 333 is like a, I don't know, they used to call them king tigers. But I thought those had thinner stripes.
I have an L333 and he doesn't look like that.
I want to say, is there? I'm going to have to look it up. Was it? It might be L222.
It might be. I was gonna say it kind of looks like a 134, but the stripes are different. But then again, as you always say, can't always go based off pattern and color and everything.
Well, they're young too.
Yeah.
So
A lot of, like, you get into the, I see it happens with Corys a lot too. There's so many different variations that
And
even like the store may order one thing and they'll get something that looks like it and they don't know
Right.
the difference, so they just label it. And,
but that was their idea. But yeah, it is what it is. I don't know. I thought it was cool. Something different than I normally keep.
yeah, that's pretty neat.
They're
There's
neat.
a Bellini.
Like the gold color on them. Oh, he's all fired up. Love the blue on him.
Yeah, she's my sweetheart. That is pure death incarnate. She's killed everything I put in with her so far. So
Right.
yeah, she's my sweetheart, but she is death fish. What do you mean? Why didn't I ask the store? I did ask the store.
Smart ass. So S thinks it's a 270, which is, it could be. Maybe S is the Pleco group. Let's
Well,
look.
that's why I wanted to show them while they were out, because S had them. You see the picture of S's Pleco in there.
There's a 270. Looks fairly similar. I don't know. Plant Catfish is the bomb.com for anything Plecos and Corys.
I've got 5 or 6 of my pictures in Planet Catfish.
Oh, really? For which
Yeah,
species?
Let's see, the dull-eyed royal, the Sultan Pleco. I have Fry in there, and the Green Phantom. I got
Okay.
one of my green. Yeah, scroll back up. Let's see. Where the hell's my picture at? Nah, it's probably gone. It's been a while.
Yeah.
The L128, the Green Phantom,
Yep.
is one of my pictures. Yeah, you're gonna have to keep scrolling down.
I feel like that's an
And
achievement.
again.
Get on Planet Catfish.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me go and see if I can find them.
See, you had 264s that spawned.
Yes. It's
260.
not as impressive. The Sultan,
Yeah.
they're 260. Aren't they 65? 265?
264 is a Sultan Pleco.
Okay, they're 264 then. My memory ain't what it used to be. Killed a few brain cells.
Happens when you get old, Terry.
I bought a group of 6 from a swap meet, and they were all adults. They didn't look like much, and within, gosh, I don't know, Maybe within 3 months they spawned for me.
Oh, really? See, I bought a group of. I spent more money than I probably should have. There's a local auction, local-ish. I had to drive 4 hours to get there. But there's a group of 6 that I spent a lot on. And they were maybe an inch and a half. And they ended up, I put them into a quarantine tank. They ended up breaking out in like a velvet type.
I wonder if he took me off of here because I haven't been a member in so long.
But yeah, that was the biggest loss all at one time that I've had in a while as far as money goes in fish.
What was the, all right, L191. That's the dull-eyed royal, right?
You know better than I do.
Yeah, L191.
Patrick asked if you went to the reptile sale, Terry.
No.
Nope. That's the thing. I got the Exoterra version of a 40 breeder terrarium with the front opening doors on it. It's the 36 by 18 by 18 or whatever.
That's a nice one.
And I am not sure I want to put it in it yet. Yeah, so it's been, I got it on sale. I think I spent I got it for like $40 brand new at like PetSmart or something. And I'm just not sure what I want to put in it yet. It's going to end up in the middle of the fish room, basically. And the fish room has to get done first. So we'll see.
Oh, that's quite
what ends up in there. I don't think 40 breeder is big enough for a bearded dragon, Danny. Not comfortable anyway. Probably be all right for a small one. I was looking at Mantella Frogs, which I don't know if you're familiar with Mantellas at all.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm looking up
Oh, you're fine. I'm
stuff.
talking reptiles right now. Or amphibians, I guess. Herp type stuff.
Well, I think it's been so long that my pictures have been taken down.
Yeah. Could have.
Replaced by other pictures. Although I think on some of mine, I think they were better.
Resubmit them. Patrick said dart frogs. I thought about darts. I started looking at frogs, and there are so many damn different types of frogs that it is pretty wild. So I had that paludarium that I built. I made a video of. I had Starry Night reed frogs in, which are pretty cool. This 40 breeder is more for terrestrial type stuff. So I was leaning towards maybe some type of a dart or like a Mantella, like these guys. There's some pretty cool Mantellas out there too. But these guys, Marini, kind of cool. I'm not real big on.
There's one. All images from this contributor. There we go.
Danny said,
yeah, I have Harry Borges, the solar catfish, Pseudocanthicus lepopartus, the Sultan Pleco, the gold nugget, and my Larius longibarbus, or Marmoratus, in my opinion, same fish. But yeah, I guess I didn't have the 128s up there, or my. Wow. I got a killer picture of a dull-eyed royal.
Oh, yeah?
I should submit it to him.
Make it happen.
Add it to the list.
Pseudo. I'm I'm not good with Latin, but S asked you about pseudo.
Anyways,
I think
Pseudodecanthicus is the spiny Plecos. Like Pseudodecanthicus lepopartis is the red tiger pleco, or
okay.
they got a bunch of different common names. But yeah, right up there, that's the Pseudodecanthicus lepopartis.
Okay.
I had it back in the day when I had a 125 gallon just fancy pleco tank.
Oh, fancy plecos are just like killifish. The more you spend on them, the less likely you are to see them.
Right. They just stay disappeared. But anyways, those are my pictures I got on Planet Catfish.
Cool. Yeah. When it comes to killifish, the more you spend, the more likely they are to jump.
Danny's got a bird-eating spider. You can keep it, Danny.
I'm not putting a bird-eating spider in my house. That's one thing. Like, there's some cool spiders, but I have no interest in. I have no interest in keeping a spider.
And Danny's got 2 birds too.
The irony. If so, Chris. Let's see.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Dragon Lair, what's going on, man? No, you guys can keep your spiders. Dude, I draw the line. I can handle reptiles and snakes and birds, but yeah, I'm not doing.
There's some cool ones. I just have no interest in keeping them at all.
No, I tried once. My uncle had a tarantula, and I tried holding it, and I ended up killing it.
Oh, really?
Well, I didn't know. I was just holding it out, right? Like, okay, like this.
Yeah.
And he put it on my hand, Well, what I didn't know is a spider's body is like under pressure, and they can't take falling from any kind of height. So when the thing started crawling at me, I was like, yeah, screw that. And I went, and a spider went up, and then when he hit the wood floor and exploded.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I had to buy him a new spider.
I'd imagine they're probably not cheap either.
This was back in the 70s. There wasn't a whole lot of people even selling them. That's when like those reptile shows were in the heyday.
Right.
Oh my God! Look at that dwarf snakehead. God dang! And yeah, I can't believe we can't have them things. And I'm sure that's some kind of spawning color, but oh my God, is that a beautiful fish?
They are pretty awesome. Now, I don't know if you follow Biggs at all, but Biggs is big into creepy crawlies too, and he has like this huge collection of like rare isopods.
Yeah, isopods, and yeah, I've watched his. Number one, the guy's got a sense of humor that's just so incredibly funny.
No, Biggs is awesome. If you guys don't follow Biggs, He's definitely worth checking out. He's been posting a lot more stuff on YouTube lately too. But he's a big fish guy. He's also big into like screw these spiders, but he's into spiders. There's somewhere in here centipedes. Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks.
Nope. That's a hard pass right there. That's a whole lot of nope. Somewhere.
Did you ever see the episodes Biggs did from one of the first Aquashellas or whatever? It was one of the first big conventions, and he had the hot seat with all the YouTubers.
That was hilarious. He was a little.
My God.
I think he was a little tuned up, but
he asked quite a few really cool questions, and they were so freaking funny.
yeah, that's a little ball of death right there. Is what that is.
I'd step on it.
There's way more legs there than I care to count. I mean, that'll creep you out a little bit.
Yeah, just a little. No thanks.
I want to see if I can find somewhere he posted. Ooh, that's a cool lizard. If you're into lizards, he posted some blue tarantula a while back. Apparently, it's been a long time now.
Well, were those baddest?
Yeah, the black tiger.
Whoa, now that is a cool looking baddest.
You've never seen those before?
No.
So the same guy that has my Radonocentris that he won't give me back, for a Christmas gift, I shipped him a group of 6 of these, and he ended up spawning them, which is actually really hard to get females. So
yeah, that's true with that whole family. It's hard to get females with. That is a badass baddest.
Yeah, it's a black tiger baddest, I think is what they're called, referred to as. He posts so much cool stuff. Yep. We're not going to feed a centipede. That's kind of weird.
No, thanks.
I mean, I'm curious. But
were those Plecos in the bucket? Okay.
397s. That's way more orange than they're.
Yeah, they don't stay that color.
Yeah, they're not actually that orange. Lizards. Crazy fish. Can't find it. Ooh, it's kind of a cool fish.
Some kind of glass tetra, but it's
Parambasis. I don't know if that's English or not.
And then tilapias. Oh, did you see that? Yeah, you want to talk about losing fish? The Denison barbs. I'm down to 1. Out of a group of 13 of them, I'm down to 1. I had 13 adults, and I put those doggone Prochulotus in there, and they maintain the same part of the water column.
Okay.
And then the Prochulotus are just systematically picking them off.
Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, you got a good deal on them, though, so.
Yeah, but still.
Can't be terribly upset about it.
Well, I like the Prochulotus, and I didn't have a tank to put the Denison barbs in, and I was like, okay. So they picked one off, and I'm watching them, eat it.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, that's a one-off. They're not going to do it again. And then I just started noticing, God dang, man, there's only like 5 of them in here now. And, yeah, they're just picking them off.
Oh, really? Well, I'm trying to see. Biggs does some cool interviews with people, too. Like, if you want nerdy science, like actual learn some stuff about keeping fish, like watch some of his videos.
Oh God, dude, that guy's so intelligent. It's not even funny. But he out of all the YouTubers, he's found that like that great, wonderful balance between humor and, like you said, being tuned up and actual science. he's found that good balance to where he's not dry and boring,
Right.
and I love watching the guy.
So this video here, I probably just lost my place. This is actually pretty cool. He talks about like what they're actually looking for when you go to a fish competition instead of just like a show or a swap meet. Kind of some cool stuff because he's been involved in more than a handful of those.
Well, one of the reasons that paratilapia is in a tank by itself is because I'm thinking about taking it to the ACA/ALA, that big event.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Down in Louisville.
Yeah, I'm thinking about taking him down there.
That would be pretty cool.
See if I can win anything with her. I think she's a gorgeous fish.
I'm trying to find that video of the interviews at the swap meet.
Oh God, was that so funny, man? He had he had a whole series, wasn't it, on a couch with Biggs, or
something like that.
First hot seat, in the hot seat with Biggs. Man, he was freaking hilarious.
This might be the ticket. Because he did.
Yep.
He did King and Queen cichlids, and so
there was whatever that event was. They had a couch like out in the lobby, and he just decided to use that couch as his format.
Yeah, it was a Keystone Clash.
And the interviews were so freaking hilarious.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was thoroughly entertaining.
You can see she's having a good time.
Yeah. Swap meets are, I don't know. I have more fun at the swap meets hanging out with people than anything with the fish, and I'm a fish nerd, so.
Well, I got to do my walkthrough, and, if, you got to see what's available so you can jump on it before somebody else gets it. But,
right.
Yeah, I do enjoy the conversations. The last one I went to, well, second to last one I went to, I had a pretty long conversation with Mike from Fish Tank Barn that I thought was pretty cool.
Oh, really?
And he was out of his element, man. He was not a super long way, but he was away from home a ways.
Yeah. No, that video from the hotel is thoroughly entertaining.
It is.
If you have the time, that's worth watching.
Yeah, if you got the time to scroll through all that and find it, it is freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I posted the link in the chat, so I'd encourage all 13 of you to take a look at it.
And you gotta love your pike cichlids. I don't care who you are. Pike cichlids are badass.
That's an awesome fish.
I just wish they were easier to find.
They are tough.
Well, the common ones are easy to find, but they don't color up that good. No. I'm not doing ticks.
Biggs is a hoot. Super smart. He just knows all the right people. Ooh. Some cool epistos.
I wish epistos did better in my water.
Thing like half my tanks are tap water, the ones I keep like live bears and stuff in, because my tap water is like, I don't know, 500, 550 TDS, and then the other half use straight RO.
Well, I need to. I haven't set up my permanent water treatment system yet because I want to redo the bathroom. I got permission to use the bathroom that's down here downstairs and turn it into, for the fish room, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet.
Oh yeah.
But I want to put a slop sink in there, get rid of the shower, and then just fill that room with all my water filtration stuff. Yeah, that's a hard no. I don't care how cool it looks. That's a hard no, man.
Yeah, no thanks. Looks cool.
It looks cool in the picture, but it's still creeping me out.
It looks cooler in somebody else's house and not mine.
Right. I can't even let I'm going to eventually get a pair of veiled chameleons, and I can't let my wife know I even have them.
Oh, really? She's not into the lizard thing?
No. Oh, look at that. It's freaking tree. That's the, is it the tree python?
I'm not a snakes
No,
are cool.
that's a venomous snake. It's the tree.
Find a common name. White-lipped
tree
viper.
Tree viper. That's it. Yes.
Yeah, that is wild.
They are gorgeous looking snakes, man. But I'm not gonna have a snake that can kill me that quick.
Yeah, that is crazy. I'm just gonna spend the rest of my night looking at Biggs' old stuff. What are those?
Yeah, I think those had a little bit of Photoshop help. There's a lot of people trying to make red angels, and you know the red top angels are about the closest we're gonna get, but they do not look that red in real life. Trust me.
Oh man.
Yeah, no thanks.
Did you see? So he lost a bunch of his Steatocranus. I don't know if you saw that a while back.
That's a shame.
Yeah, he had a nice group that he's had for quite some time. He lost a bunch of those guys, though. He had a few survivors left. They were offspring, but he lost a bunch.
Another beautiful snakehead.
I know.
And all because the northern snakehead became a problem. We're not allowed to have any of them.
Yeah, ruined it for everybody. Yeah. Purple spider.
No. It's just no. Dude, I don't even want to know what in the hell that is.
It's some grumpy frog. So, but anyway, all right, it's been fun. Thanks for stopping up, Terry. I think I'm gonna turn the lights out, pick up for the night.
Good, man.
So we'll catch up to you guys, Danny, Patrick, S, everybody that stopped by. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It was a short one, but talked about some fun fish stuff.
You ended on that grumpy frog too.
And ended on grumpy frogs.
Later, man.
We'll catch you guys later. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see ya.